Hello, welcome to the Ethereal Experience podcast. I'm Johnny.
And I'm Jay, and today we're going to be talking about various topics. We're planning to speak a little on the third eye, mostly kind of getting rid of some of the myths that kind of surround it, because a lot of people seem to think like once your third eye's open, you're going to start like shooting lasers or, walking on water. I mean, that shit's not really. It's not really true.
Bro, when my third eye opened, I started pissing gold.
Well, yeah. So,
It was like the Iron Man. It was like Iron Man shooting those like lasers out of his hands. It's like that, but my third eye just killed like everyone in the room. It's bad. Don't open your third eye. Bad things will happen, and you'll see dead people.
so yeah, these are the kind of myths that we're trying to expel, I guess. Um, we're also going to talk a little on how to open it. Kind of the sensations you might feel once you've begun to open it. Decalcification, all that shit, and then we're gonna let it flow after that. So I'm gonna let Johnny kind of introduce the third eye.
Well, third eye is also like the pineal gland, and it's pretty much a doorway to higher states of consciousness. And when opened, it will make you clairvoyant, and you'll have extrasensory perception to a certain degree. I mean, you won't be super psychic, but your psychic abilities will be heightened if you
Enhanced,
already
yeah.
have any. So, yeah, third eye.
Yeah, I mean, it's linked to the sixth and the seventh chakras, which is the third eye chakra and the crown chakra. Uh, the third eye chakra and the third eye that most people refer to are actually two different things, but they're very heavily interlinked. So it's no surprise that people kind of refer to them as one. But the third eye chakra is an energy center which links to certain parts of the body. The third eye chakra is located around the pineal gland, but it's kind of towards the back of the skull rather than where the actual pineal gland is. Uh, the third eye that a lot of people speak of is the pineal gland itself, which is I'm sure most people who are listening to this have heard of the calcified pineal gland, which is the closing of your third eye. But yeah, the two are heavily interlinked because the third eye chakra obviously does relate to the pineal gland, but the crown chakra also relates to the pineal gland. They both have functions within the two chakras, so it's worth kind of clearing up that confusion because a lot of people do get confused by that.
Yeah.
So,
But,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
and, Eastern religions and spiritualists
Philosophers.
reckon they yeah, philosophers too, they see the third eye as a very important part of the human psyche. And it's cool that Hindus call the third eye the Dyoya Dersi, or which means the divine seeing eye. And
Yeah.
yoga traditions believe that all the mental and spiritual realities have a physical counterpart, and they point to the third eye as a light into self-reflection, an organ through which if it once opened, we could see spiritual realities, and one that is the seat of our soul and intuition. So It's pretty cool, man.
I think the most interesting part about the pineal gland is obviously, a lot of people listening will have heard of the theory that we have light bodies. Energy is light, that kind of theory.
We're like luminous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the pineal glands specified scientific purpose, if you will, is to I think the word is transduce light. So light kind of enters it, and this light, when it's stimulated by light, it controls the production of melatonin. So it does kind of show that it does handle light in some sense. And if you think of your crown chakra as like an antenna picking up all this energy that comes through as light and going through the pineal gland and being transduced or whatever, it does kind of make some sense that the pineal gland has a very important role when it comes to kind of understanding your levels of consciousness and such, because it does genuinely handle light kind of passing through it.
Yeah, I mean, for a long time it was recognized as the light sensing sensory organ. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's dope, man. And like how you said, it makes your melatonin. It produces it. It helps produce it.
Yeah.
Whatever you said.
It basically.
That's why it's. Wait, what?
It basically turns the production on and off depending on the light.
Yeah, that's why it's important to go outside a lot. To chill under the sun.
And then
be outside.
Give yourself complete darkness when you want to sleep.
Yeah.
That's important too.
You sleep with a lamp on your butt.
I can't even sleep with like the slightest bit of light around. I have to kind of, block out all the light I can, because otherwise I don't sleep.
I feel like I just can't do that. I mean, if I come home like wasted, but you can sleep on like a bed of nails.
That's a bit different, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's just a little bit different. But yeah, it's
So I guess we should talk about decalcifying it first.
Well, decalcifying. There's a multitude of ways to. Oh wait, I forgot. The third eye also helps regulate metabolism in the body's circadian or if you want to be scientific or whatever, biological clock through its production of the hormone melatonin.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, but
yeah. That was worth mentioning.
And current scientific research reveals that the third eye is possibly a tumor inhibitor and plays a role in sleep disturbances, reproductive irregularities, damn it, and psychological disorders.
Damn.
Did you know that when your babies who are birthed with through a C-section, they don't produce as much DMT in your pineal gland. It keeps it closed.
Really?
Some shit like that. Yeah, I read in the Spirit Molecule book.
That sounds kind of crazy.
Because when you're born, just DMT floods your pineal gland or brain or whatever when you're born. I don't know. I forgot the exact words because it's been a long time since I've read that book, but
I need to read it.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
We're getting off topic.
I'm still talking about the pineal gland.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to decalcify it.
And it has a lot of purposes, so it's worth keeping it in a, healthy working order.
Mm-hmm.
And
according to this dude named Dr. Samuel Sagan, you ever heard of him?
Nah.
Well, according to him, he's like the in spiritual circles and yoga traditions, opening third eye is essential to self-understanding the growth of consciousness. And Dr. Samuel of Clear Vision School compares the third eye to a switch, and when opened, said the third eye which I learned to be true.
Okay.
Awakens and controls spiritual energy that can lead us to higher states of consciousness through meditation and reflection.
It makes
You
sense.
you can strengthen your third eye's abilities or your psychic abilities. And once you experience that, you're like, okay, this doesn't sound so out there now.
Yeah.
Because if I would have heard this like 5 years ago, I'd be like, what the fuck?
If I heard this like even a year ago, I probably would have been very skeptical, as opposed to how I am now. Because I've had my own experiences with it, so like it's hard for me to deny it now.
It's done some remarkable things to my psyche, helping me become whole in life. I don't want to say I'm complete yet because I still got a lot of time here.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, let's get into decalcifying it.
Alright.
So the first method that I would mention is iodine. Or is it iodine?
I think it's iodine.
I think it might be iodine. I think
Isn't that what it's like in whenever you go in like an isolation tank like Joe Rogan did, they have like a little water out to your knees or ankles or whatever.
Yeah.
With iodine in it.
It
makes you have like a trip.
What it does is iodine is known for like pulling toxins out of the body. So like it's kind of like a really hardcore detox in a few kind of seconds.
Damn.
So yeah, they've said that obviously because fluoride is like the number one thing that everyone is kind of worried about when it comes to calcifying the pineal gland. If you regularly take iodine, then you're drawing that fluoride out of your body. Now, I mean, there's no kind of proof that drawing it out doesn't make it go to the brain. Like, there's no proof to say that it hasn't gone to the brain before you're taking it out of your body, but there's a lot of kind of people saying that iodine is a good bet for it. And I have tried iodine pills, and I found it worked out quite well, so...
I need to cop some of those. But yeah, my friend, he went to an isolation tank place down in Charlotte, North Carolina, like an hour away from where I live, and he said he went in there for like 2 hours, and since there's no time or no clocks in there or anything, and with that iodine water, he said it made him like trip or whatever, just trip out and think about things, and I don't know, I want to go in one and see what it's like, but
yeah,
seems interesting.
I want to go in one because like it deprives you of all your senses, so
yeah,
you're just kind of lost. But the coolest thing about it is because it's like pitch black, and because you're in water, you don't actually. I know this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but when you kind of have a reference point to look at, so when you've got light and you can feel yourself kind of standing up, it's very, very subtle, but your body does actually pick up on the earth kind of moving. It's like ridiculously subtle, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's almost like an intuitive thing. You just know it's happening, but when you're in the pitch black and you can't feel yourself at all, apparently like the motion of the earth just stops. So your mind is like, your whole body is just kind of there.
Yeah, it's like in tune with everything.
It must be fucking intense.
He said he felt the same thing, man.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
I'm gonna have to. He was like, it's $65. I was like, well, I'm gonna go do that ASAP and then have a podcast about it.
Isn't P-Nautic Express opening one?
I don't know. I follow so many people. I can't keep up with anyone's tweets.
I think he is opening a float center once he gets funding for it, which would be pretty cool to hear about because obviously he's gonna have like loads of experiences to bring back to Twitter.
That's awesome.
Again, we're getting off topic, but
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I quite like the idea of sensory deprivation tanks. They provide quite a lot of good kind of conversation.
Yeah, I'm ready to experience it. I didn't even know they had one here.
I want to go in one, but I don't know where anywhere would be in England. So
Is it true that they don't have like fluoride in the water in Europe?
they in most of Europe they don't have fluoride in the water. In England they do.
What the fuck?
Because if you kind of like think about it, we're America's like
True.
baby brother.
Yeah.
We just sit there and we do whatever the US is doing, so we kind of follow the trend that you guys set. So yeah, we do have fluoride in our water. They're actually passing a law here because there are still some water companies that provide it without fluoride. They're passing a law in the UK that says that water has to be fluoridated.
Wow.
As opposed to the whole rest of Europe where they say, yeah, no fluoride. We're actually doing the complete opposite, so...
I guess you're that 2% because I've seen that thing where it's like 98% of Europe has banned fluoride.
Yep. That's
How about
us.
that? And we'll put a link on here after the podcast, and it will give you a list of all the waters that you can buy that do not contain fluoride.
Yeah.
Because I know that means a lot to you guys. Cause you ask me that question a
lot. I'll provide a link to the water filter that I have.
Yeah, or you could just get a reverse osmosis filter.
Yeah. I got one that uses microfiltration, and then from the microfiltration it goes into activated alumina, which is it's pretty much been invented solely for cleansing ionized metals from water, so it's very reliable.
And reverse osmosis systems are really fucking expensive.
They are.
I didn't realize that. This one's like $2,500.
Fuck.
That's insane. Cheapest one's like $170.
Yeah, well, we'll provide links for that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So iodine is a good one for decalcifying. I know that Johnny has another suggestion as well.
Spirulina, apple cider vinegar, organic foods will help not calcify it. But hold on, there's so many more. Where's that fucking one? Damn it. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. I just can't think of it.
There is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, exercise, that's a good one. People kind of neglect that one as well, but regular exercise, and it doesn't have to be like you go out and you fucking massacre yourself, you know, it doesn't have to be a hardcore workout. A little bit of, stretching, a little bit of cardio, a few sit-ups, push-ups, bit of yoga, like, these things really do help to keep not only you in tune, but your body in tune as well. Like, we are, as a collective, not getting enough exercise, like, definitely not, because everything's at our convenience now, and we don't really have to go out of our way to kind of, do what we need to do. So because of that, we don't really get enough exercise, and on top of exercise aiding to keep, your brain healthy and your body healthy, it really does help to kind of lift your mood. If you find that you suffer from things like anxiety or depression, just a bit of exercise, maybe every other day, or every day or twice a week, if you can find time for it, you'll definitely see a noticeable improvement in your mood, because it's just it strengthens that connection between you and your body, and yeah, it's well worth it. I would definitely recommend it.
I said, it's like all about balance, man. You could retox, but you gotta detox first, and you gotta work out, and you just gotta keep it all on the same level. I
Yeah.
try to. But other things I would recommend are vitamin C, and vitamin C helps a lot. And I recommend Acerol cherry powder, Acerol, yeah, Acerola cherry powder, as it assists like the removal of toxins. Damn it, what is wrong with my delivery today? It's fucked up. But yeah,
So yeah, I mean,
and cacao, yeah.
like there's so many things that you can kind of go and buy to kind of decalcify, but decalcifying isn't enough. You've got to be willing to kind of make a conscious change to not let your pineal gland get back into the state that it was. Like, you need to make some changes, and I mean, I know people hate being told what to do, and I kind of, I rebelled against getting a water filter and things like that because I was like, nah, fuck that. Like, it won't affect me if I don't let it affect me. But then it was just playing on my mind all the time. Like, I was like, what if drinking this does actually damage me? Like, and I went and looked up like the side effects of fluoride, and I was like, fuck it, third eye or not, like, I don't want to be drinking this shit.
Yeah.
It's linked to like so many fucking illnesses. I don't want to be drinking that.
Right. It's insane.
I mean,
Then I tell people about this, like my parents especially, because they're the ones I care about the most.
yeah,
And you people on Twitter. But I'm like, yeah, there's like fluoride in the water if you didn't know that. And they'll kill you at a young age. And they're like, my dad has lived till like 78. I was like, well, without fluoride, he might have lived till 90.
yeah.
If you would lived organically your whole life, you might live to like 120.
I mean, fucking fluoride was like first tested in a Nazi concentration camp. It was how they kept all the people they were holding like very passive and docile and not like wanting to overthrow what was going on. So it kind of shows if it was being used in a fucking Nazi concentration camp, there's something wrong with it being in the water supply.
Yep, I think they've succeeded at dumbing us down.
For sure, for sure. But that's a whole nother topic. We shouldn't get into that because I'm still mad.
We should get into that. That's actually a really good topic.
Okay.
But
well, let's finish up the third eye and then we'll see.
this is like last time when
Yeah.
we started talking about the
Yeah.
Holocaust.
That's what
One
happens.
of these days, we're gonna whip out a blooper reel.
It's gotta happen for sure. It's gotta happen. We do like before we record these things, some funny conversations go down, and then we're like, "Oh, we should have recorded that," and then we kind of realize, okay, it's probably good that we didn't record that because you guys probably wouldn't.
Wouldn't appreciate it.
No. We're just two young
shit.
teenagers. Leave us alone. But yeah. So the third eye, obviously, decalcifying it important. Making sure that it doesn't get calcified again, more important. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, then who the fuck's gonna take care of you? Like, for real, a lot of kind of humanity. Not in third world countries, in like well-developed first world countries, they don't have any fucking responsibility for themselves. It's like, if you get sick, who do you go to? You go to a doctor, okay. So the doctor is meant to make you get better, alright, great. That's his job, fair enough. But whose responsibility was it that you weren't meant to get sick in the first place? Yours. Why are you getting sick? Because, You're probably doing something stupid. You're probably not taking care of yourself. Like, okay, that kind of sounds harsh, but let's be real. If we were all more responsible for our actions and for what we done, and we started being held accountable for it, rather than having people bail us out every time that we kind of need it, then I think a lot of people would live their life a little differently.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Imagine a world without hospitals. Like, holy shit. I don't
And
think.
if doctors wanted and actually like did their job, when you went in and it's like when you go in, or anyone goes into the doctor's like, I'm not feeling right, or I'm feeling sick, or whatever. Nothing serious like cancer or any of that shit, but he would be like, ditch your TV, go outside more, exercise an hour a day, ditch the junk food and alcohol, whatever. Eat organically, meditate twice a day, and come back to me in a month.
Fucking imagine that. Seriously. But that's not what we get. We get, yeah, take these pills. If they don't work, take these pills. And if they don't work, then we'll probably pass you off on some other branch of our, like, fucking health service. And they'll give you some more pills. And we'll go from there, you know? And it's like, okay, nothing's actually going to get done here until you take responsibility and go, right, these pills aren't doing anything, and all that's happening is I'm replacing these pills for more pills because that's what I'm being told I'm meant to do. Start thinking for yourself and realize, actually, you know, they're giving you pills because they're giving you pills. Like, that's all they know how to fucking do these days. So, you know, if you were to go, okay, I don't actually need these pills. What I need to start doing is exercising. I need to start, you know, doing a bit of cardio, or need to kind of stop watching so much mindless shit, or stop.
I swear television like gives you cancer, like those cancer commercials. Holy shit.
Fear inciting, man.
Yeah, man. It's like instilling all this fear. It's like, oh my god, it's horrible. What if I get cancer? Oh, you're gonna have cancer.
It
I
puts.
remember on the ESPYs, it was ridiculous. Like, the whole thing was about cancer. Just cancer, cancer, cancer. This kid's dying from cancer. I was high as shit when I was watching, and it brought me down. I was like, holy fuck. Like, how do people watch this shit?
It puts the thought into your head and
Yeah, and then it like,
manifests.
it just, yeah, it travels through your brain and then into your subconscious, and then it rises and manifests. I don't know how the fuck it works, but it happens, and it's I see it. I see I see what they're doing, and it's working.
I don't think people really. Like, I think the concept of you create your reality is, you know,
Underestimated.
it's something that a lot of people will talk about, but they don't fucking know what they're talking about. They'll just say it, and it's just a cool saying. It's just a cool phrase to them, but
Sounds like somebody I know.
it's fucking not. Like, when you're creating your reality, you have to accept that responsibility falls on you and you alone for whatever happens to you. And people are like, yeah, so what if someone comes and punches me? And then it's like, okay, so you expecting someone to come punch you? Maybe I am now. Okay, so now someone's going to come and fucking punch you. Who incited that, you know? Who put that thought in your head? Okay, you thought it up, you asked it, and now someone's going to come punch you in the fucking face because you were thinking someone's going to come punch me in the face. It's not hard.
And it's like, if you fear getting in a car accident, you'll get in a car accident.
Yeah, exactly.
Most likely, you'll get in a car accident. I'm not saying it will happen, but
yeah, like,
it's a pretty great possibility it'll happen.
I think worrying about something happening actually increases the probability of it happening. I would be willing to kind of take a scientific study and prove that shit, but obviously I don't have the resources.
Yeah.
But, you know,
has there been a study on that?
There probably has. I've never looked, but I'm so kind of confident in it that I would happily bet money on it actually happening.
Oh yeah.
But then again,
Likewise.
Controlled tests, you know, they're not reliable because, you know, we're creating our reality then.
Yeah, like the tester, or the guy, the tester expected for it to come up false, it would be false. But if we were testing it or running the whole project, it would be true.
Exactly.
proven correct.
But you know, that's how it goes, and
yeah,
I think you know, people really do underestimate the power of the mind. The placebo effect and the nocebo effect, they really do show us that if you think something can happen, it can happen. Like, there are people taking sugar pills and curing cancer with it. Like, how does that happen? How does that work? It's your fucking mind. And if your mind can cure cancer from a sugar pill, surely it can create cancer from the idea of it.
Yeah. That's like, I thought that a lot, but it makes me think about all those people that say, like, what if this happens? You probably get this all the time, too, like, family members. What if this happens to you? What if that happens to you? Like, it's not going to happen unless you think it's going to happen. Like, you just thinking that makes it more likely. You're like, no, it doesn't. I'm just worrying about it. Stop worrying. If it happens, it fucking happens.
Exactly, like...
You worrying about it only is going to make the likelihood of it happening rise.
By the time it happens, what control do you have over it?
Yeah, exactly.
So, worrying is a really kind of futile concept. It makes no sense. Because you sit there and you think, oh no, what if this happens, or what if that happens? And, you know, you're worrying about it, and it's like, is the situation in which this could arise here yet? No. Okay. So, why are you worrying about something happening in an experience that you're not even in yet?
And that's the great thing about being present. That shit doesn't really exist. You don't really worry about the future.
I mean, you know, I stay in the present moment quite frequently, I would like to say, but I do still think about the future, but when
you gotta stay mindful of it, but
yeah.
you're like, oh, my future will create itself. No.
You're in the now right now creating it, so it's you know, it's not creating itself. You're fully in control. But I think, you know, that's again is two kind of concepts that got kind of intertwined, and now they kind of get misconstrued. It's like, okay, so you can believe that your life is, you know, it's got a divine plan, it's got a divine goal, it's got something that you're here to achieve, or you can believe it doesn't. If you believe that you have something to achieve here, then you shouldn't really be worrying about going about, you know, trying to make it happen, because if you're here to do it, surely if you put in the work and your intentions are in a right kind of state, you know, in a state that's beneficial not just to you but to other people, what you're here to do is inevitably going to happen. But, you know, obviously that doesn't always hold true, because people think they're here for one thing and then they kind of let that shit go to their head, and then it's like, okay, no, you're actually not here to do that. What you're here to do is kind of realize that it's gone to your head. And then, you know, the other kind of concept of it is that you create your future. So, you know, everything that you do is adding to your future experience right now, because you are in the now, and when the future comes, it will be the now. So, you know, you are creating your future. But again, you know, free will exists, and you should use free will. Like, you should exercise it, because if you think you're here for a divine plan, any of the options that you take within your life will, provided these, you know, options are quite wholesome, you know, they're not going about killing a load of people or some shit like that, then you're gonna eventually achieve what you're here to achieve. And if you're not here with a purpose, or if you don't think you're here with a purpose, then again, anything that you choose to do is, you know, you're still creating your future, because free will.
Yeah.
But that's just my take on it.
You're just like a vessel, and your body's a vessel, and your mind and soul are like the captain. So take charge of where you're going and what you're doing right now.
Exactly.
Make good choices, and
work hard.
Create the future through your present. Yeah, and work hard. It's all that hard work and self-improvement. It's literally like the purpose of life is self-improvement.
I would agree.
Spiritually, mentally, physically, the whole spectrum.
I don't think
that's the purpose.
I don't think people like to kind of but take on the responsibility that comes with creating their reality. They kind of just want to say, yeah, I create my reality, and then leave it at that. And it's like, if you think you create your reality and you genuinely believe it, surely you should be taking some action towards creating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I agree. Oh, shit, this is turning into a good conversation. But, yeah, I remember back before I awakened, I wasn't, like, as aware of what we've been talking about as I am now. Like,
yeah.
Usually I would just make my choices and create my reality, but not to the degree that I have taken it to now. And it's just like, I used to just be in like a boat half the time and just let the person with the paddles guide me and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
you kind of surrendered to the flow of it.
Yeah, it just went. Yeah, pretty much. Like just went with the flow. Just didn't want to take control or just.
I mean, that's not like bad.
It's not abnormal. I know. Like, I think it's not bad, but it's not good at the same time.
I agree, because you can easily kind of be led astray.
Yeah, and that happened for a while, but I'm.
You're back.
I threw that dude off the boat and took the paddles and.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
I was like, deuces.
So, like, I've kind of lost where we actually began with this conversation. Like, I think it might have been on the third eye. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But, I guess the last comment that I'd want to make on it is kind of, when it comes to, you know, letting your life unfold, you know, I don't think you don't need to force things. If things are meant to happen, then usually they kind of do, but it's not about sitting there and expecting it to happen. It's going out and making it happen, and if it's meant to happen, your hard work's gonna pay off. And if it's not meant to happen, then maybe it's not time for it. Maybe you're not ready for it. You know, if you truly feel that something in your life is meant to happen, like be it a relationship, a job, a house, I don't know, like all these kind of aspirations that people have, and they truly believe that their life is meant to kind of happen in this point, you know. I think if it doesn't work out, then it's worth reflecting on whether or not you feel that you are ready for doing it, because I know maybe a few years back I did kind of have, like, I wouldn't call it an awakening, but I did kind of have a brief interest in spirituality, like genuine spirituality, at about age 16. But I was like so depressed at the time that when it came to trying to pursue anything, when it came to spirituality, I found that my motivation lacked for it, and you know, it just almost felt like something was just telling me not to do it, and I abandoned it. And I came back to it, you know, 3 years later. Yeah, 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a completely different situation. Like, I had this really kind of this massive wealth of motivation for pursuing spirituality and really getting myself involved in it. And I know that now that when I kind of, you know, it felt like everything was against me when I was trying to pursue it before, it was because I wasn't ready to do it. you know, like I wasn't ready at all, so I just kind of had this feeling maybe I shouldn't do it, and then when I was ready, you know, I kind of exploded into it. So, you know, you create your reality, but if you're not ready for something, then and you know it's for you, then just flow with it, go with it, you know, grow, let yourself learn from the experience, and come back to it when you feel genuinely ready to tackle it.
Yeah, everything doesn't need to happen right now.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, a lot of people expect that.
They really do.
Like, oh, I want this right now. I want this street bike right now. You're 19, dude. You have your whole life to get a street bike. Stop trying to force that shit and get yourself in greater debt. Or have more payments or whatever.
Yeah.
Just have patience with life, man. Just don't worry about it. Don't fret or anything. Just, if it's not meant to be, it may be meant to be later down the road.
Yeah, I've never really understood why people kind of want to rush into life so much. It's a lot longer than we're kind of, you know, told, and than what we really believe. So I don't see the point in having your life figured out at 19, or even trying to have your life figured out at 19. Like, I know roughly where I want to be. Like, I know roughly my career choice. I know roughly how I'm going to get there, but I don't know every step of the way. And if someone was to come up to me and say, like, hey, I can tell you exactly how you're going to get where you're going to get and all that shit, then I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
You know, part of life is to actually live life, and I think that's an important thing that people overlook because they're so busy trying to kind of create this thing for themselves, this what their dream or whatever. They're like so busy trying to force it that they don't really take a moment to embrace their life.
Yeah, it's like that one quote. It says, life goes by fast. If you don't take a second and look around, it'll pass you by.
Exactly. People are too busy
Oh, yeah.
looking at what's coming up rather than focusing on what they've got right now.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I understand why people rush their life because, like, the underlying fear of death we all have, but we do have enough time. But if you
Yeah.
do die abruptly, so be it. Don't fear it, or else it'll manifest. Just live.
People, they don't live anymore. Like, they live to an extent. They put limits on what they can live. You know, they just they want to chokehold their future so much that living is out of the question. It's just planning and executing, planning and executing, planning and executing, rather than flowing with your life. Like, you know, work hard to get where you want to be, but don't forget to actually give yourself a chance to go, okay, I'm just gonna, you know, see how this day goes, you know, see how, you know, this week goes or whatever. Just live.
Yeah, it's just the job forces them to, like, do whatever they have to do for like 8 hours a day, and then they go to school, then they go home and do homework for 2.5 hours, and at the end of the day, they only have 4 hours to do what they want to do.
Yeah, it is
It's just,
shit.
it fucking sucks. I'm like, how do people tolerate this system? Like, you're not even living. I'm like, sure, I live. On the weekends, I go out and I go to a bar and drink with my friends, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, is that not the opposite of freedom? Just, it's kind of like slavery. I mean, they can slaves were told when they could stop working and when they had to start
Yeah.
working. So come on, man, just think about it.
And they're living for the weekend as well.
Yeah. People are like, "Oh, my Mondays suck." I'm like, "No, your life sucks, and your perspective sucks."
It's the truth that no one really wants to face up to. It's, you know, if you're working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, then your life's gonna fucking suck.
Yeah. You may be happy for an hour or two, but when Monday comes again, you're gonna be like, "Fuck my life. I don't want to do this. I was not born to do this." And if you think you are, you're really, really lost in like the world's labyrinth they've created. We're just rats. Most of us are rats.
Man, imagine imagine if we were to just suddenly kind of annihilate the whole concept of working. You know, everyone's just free to do whatever the fuck they want suddenly.
Mm.
How many people do you think would actually go, yeah, I was really happy in that job, I'll keep working there?
A lot of people, sadly, they wouldn't know what the fuck to do with their time.
You know, that's kind of what I was thinking, because I think if you were to just go to someone and go, yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want, they would go, oh.
And you don't have to pay for your food. You don't have to pay for everything. It's given to you because that's how humanity should be.
I don't think people know how to respond. I think we've got such a, you know, the system has got such a chokehold on people that if they were just suddenly given this opportunity, if it was just sitting there right in front of them and all they had to do was reach out and take it, they would just continue to grind in their 9 to 5 job. And it's fucking heartbreaking, but at the same time, that's the reality we fucking live in, because it's the system. Like, I hate the word brainwashing, but it does fucking brainwash people. Like, look at them, and they don't realise that they are living for their days off. They're living for their time off of work. How is that living at all? Because in those, 8 hours or whatever that you're fucking working, you are living for another time in your life. And then when that time comes, you're sitting there and you're going, oh shit, like, I'm going to have to go back to work or whenever this is. And it just completely fucks up your living in the present, because you're either looking to the future, yay, here comes the weekend, or you're looking to the past, you're thinking, oh, that was a really good time on the weekend. Or you're looking to the future even further and going, oh shit, I'm going to have to fucking go back to work on Monday or whatever. And it's like, take a look at your life for a minute. Just like for 30 seconds, just go, okay, this is my life. Let me have a look. And if you don't get completely fucking appalled by the fact that you're working for next to nothing for the majority of your life, for the 5 days a week out of 7 at least for most people, if you're not appalled by that and you don't realize that you are being completely taken advantage of, it's probably time to completely reevaluate what you hold to,
It's like, whenever you find yourself on the side of a majority, you need to step back and evaluate why you're on that side to begin with.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't want to do that. They're like, everyone else does it. That means I should do it too, right? Like, no. It means you should think about what the fuck they're doing and why you're doing it. Take a step back and just reevaluate everything. And they're like, well, whatever. I don't want to do that.
No one takes that on board. Like, you could tell someone 1,000,000 times to just take a step back from their life, and I don't think they would ever fully understand what you mean by it until, they get forced into this situation where they have to do it,
Yeah.
And once that happens, that's when they start realizing, okay, none of this is right. But until they come to that realization for themselves, you could talk to them as much as you want, and it would not sink in. It wouldn't have any depth to it, because they just don't have the understanding of what it's like to be outside of the system they currently live in.
Yeah, I mean, I usually whenever I talk to people about stuff like this, I'm like, reevaluate your life through a deconditioned mind. And they're like, what?
Yep.
What the fuck does that mean? It's like, take out the rules in your mind, all the confines, just step out, like, rise above the labyrinth and just look at your life. Look at what you've been doing for the past 40 years, every 5 days a week. And all there is, I see, is just a bunch of nostalgic people.
Yeah.
Remember back 2 years ago when we did this? That was so awesome. They talk about that shit like every fucking week.
It's because that's what they've got left to hold on to, you know.
Yeah,
They've
it's just
practically sold their fucking soul to corporatism. I don't know what the fucking word
corporatism,
is.
I think.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, I'm not the only one fucking up with words tonight.
Yay!
but
I think my challenge to people would be go find the darkest place you can find in your house or whatever. Like, go find it, block out all the fucking lights, stick fucking duct tape up on your windows or some shit if you have to, and black out everything. Sit in that pitch black moment and go, what the fuck am I doing and why am I here? Who am I? Ask yourself these questions that no one asks themselves, why do I believe this? Why am I like this? Why do I do this? Ask yourself all these questions, and when you realize that you're in the pitch black and you have absolutely nothing to take your attention away from the questions you're asking yourself, you'll realize that actually a lot of these questions you'll answer and you probably won't like the answer, but once you get over the initial shock and fear of the fact that you are completely pissing away your life,
yeah,
you'll feel liberated, to an incredible degree.
Yeah, man. I completely agree. It's I always like to say the purpose of life is to die before you die. And when I say that to people, they're like, the fuck? It means like pretty much give up and just die? No, that's not what it means. It means like
Doesn't sink in.
Yeah, just decondition yourself. Stop looking at it from perspectives implemented from the external world. Like, put on whatever those things are. I forgot they're called. Like, whatever that you wear. Some people wear on their eyes. Huh?
Glasses.
No, like
lenses.
No, it's like they put them on to go to sleep.
Oh right, yeah, like a sleeping mask.
Yeah, like a sleeping mask.
Okay.
Just put one of those on, lay down. If you need it, just do some shrooms. That'll really get you thinking about your life.
Yeah.
And then just wake up to who the fuck you really are. We're God's highest creative form of creation. We're not meant to fucking slave away our entire existence, then retire off of 40% of our life's income and watch TV till we die because we're too old to go skydive or go to fucking hike Mount Vesuvius or Mount Everest or whatever the fuck you want to do. You're too old to do that shit by the time that comes around. Fucking live. Control where you're going. Take risks. Better. That's like why I'm doing this wake up now shit, and it's blossoming.
And that's why we're doing this fucking podcast.
Oh, and to help other people do that too. That's exactly what this podcast is all about. But it's dope.
About opening those eyes, man. Like, I don't see how people have not realized that there is literally like less than 1% of our population is living in complete luxury. They can do whatever the fuck they want, whenever the fuck they want. They're completely, allowed to do whatever they want. And then you've got this other fucking 99% of people that are stuck working jobs they don't want to be in situations they don't want to be in, for things that should be provided for them because they are a citizen of Earth. Like, why the fuck you have to pay to live here? You were born here, weren't you? Like, what gave these guys, because they've suddenly got, they've got like this elite kind of fucking bloodline.
Mm.
Why do they now get to fucking harvest all this shit off you? You work to keep the people in power. That's what people working do. And it's a system that is designed to keep you at a point where you can't escape it. You can't become one of the big people up there. You can, maybe be able to live comfortably, but be in control or have anything that, you really own, and anything you can kind of really change things with, you can't get to that point, because that point is reserved for these elite bloodlines that are controlling the fucking world, and no one sees it because it's become a joke to people. You know, these secret societies. I mean, take a look at the Freemasons, the Illuminati, you know, the New World Order. Look at all these things, and then look at how many jokes are made about these things, or how many people make up conspiracy theories about these things. And then when you realize what's actually happening, you know, they're conditioning you
We become the joke.
desensitized to these secret societies, you know?
Yeah.
These secret societies exist. I wouldn't say the Illuminati is a bad one, because they are just people that have knowledge and, you know, maybe a bit elitist with their knowledge, but, you know, they're not really the bad ones. But the Freemasons, people, you know, they say, like, the Freemasons control the world, and it's become such a laughable joke that people don't actually contemplate that maybe the reality is they control the world. Because it's just become this desensitized joke.
Yeah. People they don't understand the gravity of what the Freemasons do. The reality is they control you and I and everyone and everything. They plan everything. They make everything happen. They made 9/11 happen. I mean, they plan all this shit out. Nothing just happens. It's all part of their plan.
Turn on your TV, have a look at the news. There is no doubt that anything that was shown on that news was planned by one of these elitist families. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Because they're controlled. You know, the whole fucking world is controlled by these people. There's... What is there? There's like 3 countries left that don't have a Federal Reserve. That's
It's like
owned by...
Syria, Iran, I think,
Yeah.
Cuba,
Yeah.
and
Is it? Yeah. I don't know, but, you know, it's a fucking tiny amount. And funnily enough, these places that don't have these Federal Reserves, guess what's happened to them? Wars, conflicts, you know,
Yep.
We're looking for any fucking reason to invade them. I wonder why. You know? Do you want to make it any more obvious, or...
no one wants to connect the dots.
I don't know if it's about wanting to connect the dots. I just don't think they know how anymore.
Yeah. Both, I'd say.
Mm.
It's just, it's fucking...
Lack of self-responsibility.
Yep. And whenever I woke up, I became the crazy kid. At least all the world conspiracy truth. People are like,
it's
what?
Kind of scary.
Yeah, they're so like frightful of the reality of it all. They don't want to believe that it's true. They'll do anything to avoid becoming conscious of the truth. When I present people the conspiracy theory of 9/11 being an inside job, they're like, no. Why would our government do that to us? Why? I was like, why the fuck wouldn't they do that to us? Hitler did it to get them into Poland.
It does
Why
make
wouldn't
you
we?
think.
Yeah. They're like, our government's pretty bad, but it's not that bad. I'm like, our government is not our government. They don't give a fuck. They're puppets.
Our government is like fucking some elitist families that have been running the world since...
Yep.
fuck knows when, since, you know, the churches run the world. They have ties all the way fucking back then, so how we can possibly conceive that this is not going on is simple. You take a look at what Hollywood tell you. You take a look at what people like Alex Jones, you know, tells you.
Yeah.
And
I think his wife is married. I think his wife is a Rothschild. I swear I heard that. I don't know if it's true, but it would make sense.
Let me use Alex Jones as an example.
Yeah.
He is so loudmouthed and so extreme with his accusations that people don't take him seriously anymore. And I personally believe that maybe Alex Jones is just a disinformation agent. Because he tells you the truth, but he does it in such a fucking obnoxious manner that people go, okay, he's just fucking crazy, so anyone else that believes his theories is crazy. No, what's happening is these theories came out, these theories were confirmed, and now he's coming along with the evidence to make it all into a big fucking joke.
Yeah. Like, if they
But
put
people don't see it.
anyone... No, hell no, they don't. Like, if people like you or I ran that show, you would do it in a manner where you convey the information in a manner that it would be taken seriously, or a lot more seriously
Exactly.
than him, because he's like, he's just like going crazy about it. I don't even know what he's fucking saying half the time. I'm like, dude, you're so enthusiastic about it, and you make your voice, your tone is just so fucking out there and crazy. Like, people don't believe you.
He goes over the top with it, and I think it's intentionally. I mean, that's just me. There are going to be some people who go, okay, I love Alex Jones. He can't be working with the bad guys. He gives us all this good information. Okay, if the information he's giving you is good, which I probably think it is, why aren't people taking him seriously? Because he acts like a fucking dick on purpose.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to fathom that if information comes out and they don't want it to be taken seriously, they go, hey, Alex Jones, run a story on this. So he goes and runs a story on it. Everyone goes, okay, it's the fucking crazy conspiracist. Let's not believe a word he says again. And that's it. That whatever evidence was used by him is suddenly become this nullified piece of information that nobody's going to give a shit about because he's fucking crazy. Well, it's not that he's crazy, he acts crazy.
Yep. And I don't really take chemtrails that seriously. I know it's another topic. There's not enough evidence for me. There's this thing called cloud, not contrails, but cloud, whatever they use it for, like cloud making or whatever. I forgot the correct term for it, but
okay.
You know what I'm talking about, I think. But
yeah. I've got no idea either, but I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't take that shit seriously. People are gonna not like that. I don't believe chemtrails are a real thing. But it's also like Alex Jones and Jesse Ventura. They tell him what he could say. I mean, everything he says is true, but everything he says barely scratches the surface of the reality of it at all on his show. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's just, oh yeah. There's an underground base under the Denver International Airport. There's so much more to that.
Exactly, but they'll leave it at that, and people are like, okay, we won't take that seriously.
Look at all these Freemason symbology, oh my god. And I'm like, yeah, okay. It's pretty much telling us it exists, and there's something to it, but...
Nah.
Come on, I know this shit already.
It kind of gives me a headache. I know this is jumping to another topic, but it kind of gives me a headache when people get Freemason symbology and the Illuminati symbology mixed up. Like,
oh yeah.
You realize there is absolutely no link to the Illuminati and the All-Seeing Eye. Like, no link whatsoever. The Bavarian Illuminati symbol was a circle with a dot in it. It had some kind of meaning behind it, but that's what the actual logo for it was. So,
like the Japanese flag.
Where the fuck is this whole kind of all-seeing eye is linked to the Illuminati? Like, that's bullshit. It's linked to the Freemasons.
Man.
But that's a topic for another time. Like, we've killed some topics here right now.
Oh yeah, but we'll get into that another time for sure. But way more in depth. That'll be a long podcast for sure.
We're gonna drop some heavy shit.
Oh yeah. Echo should be on that one. We should
get for sure.
We'll get into conspiracy theories too. But I want to make this clear. Going back to the third eye, psychedelics do not open your third eye. People ask me that all the time. Will doing DMT or mushrooms or LSD open my third eye? It will stimulate it temporarily. Definitely stimulates it, that's for sure. It might be open for a few days after you come down off the trip, but it won't be permanent. That's for sure. It will give you a peek into what having your third eye open is like. without all the hallucinations and shit, just that higher consciousness. But it does not open your third eye. There's so many misconceptions about that. It fucking bothers me.
It can give you a peek into the state that you want to get to.
Yeah.
So, you know, if it does kind of stimulate your third eye to a point where you know, you need to be able to remember the feeling that it created. You need to be able to remember the state that you were brought into, and then learn to get to that state by yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know, they think, yeah, I'm gonna go fucking get trippy, and once I've got trippy, then I'm gonna be enlightened. And it's like, fuck off. Just fuck off.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a stupid concept. Like, do some research into what it is you're talking about. I mean, you know, I fucking love Twitter, and I love, you know, I got love for everyone, but
A lot of people need it. There are a few particular people
they just need to go to
need
Google.
to do that. Yeah.
You
Google's
know,
not a credible source of information.
go buy some fucking books. Go do what you gotta do, but stop looking at, you know, these mind-altering substances for, like, as shortcuts, because they're not. You know, they're temporary.
Yeah.
The things that it does show you, the things that it resolves, will eventually leave you. And you're going to need to get back to that point by yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be depending on a substance that you might not always be able to get to. So, you know, what's better, like having to rely on a substance or doing it yourself? And a lot, I could compare that to prescription drugs and like mental illnesses or whatever, because a lot of people say, like, yeah, you shouldn't take prescription drugs because, you know, you'll never get to that point by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Apply that same fucking thing to psychedelics, because you're not going to get to any state of enlightenment if you keep thinking they're going to get you there.
That's so fallacious. It kills me when people are like, oh, like I said, oh, will doing DMT open my third eye? No.
No.
Fuck no, it won't. You have like a glimpse of what it's like to possess that higher stage of consciousness and live in that, but it needs to happen organically for it to be permanent.
Exactly.
You can't do it with psychedelics. I mean, you could do psychedelics along the road while making it happen organically, just to make it quicker, but
yeah.
It won't. You have to actually put in the work and meditate or astral project and go organic, or just be about that life. Don't
Be
just
about
say
it.
Yeah, don't say some shit like, oh, good vibes or something with good vibes. Just literally, like, look within and everything will make sense, because everything that's external is you.
I'd like to make it, like, abundantly clear. I personally am not trying to criticize anyone, but if you take offense to what I talk about, take that full offense. Take it, all of it, like, completely, every single drop of that offense, and then let it use it and motivate it to remedy whatever it is that's creating this offense. Because if I'm not mentioning any names and I'm just mentioning some vague concepts and you're taking offense, you really need to reflect on why it is my words affect you, because who the fuck am I? Like, you know,
Yeah.
I shouldn't be any source for you to be basing your self-worth on or anything like that. So if what I'm saying is making you think in, you know, a way that you don't enjoy, maybe, just maybe, the problem lies with you and not what was actually said.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people are going to come up along and they're going to be like, yeah, you were being, like, really judgmental at that point, and be like, no, we weren't. We're talking about things and we're vocalizing our opinion because it matters. And if you're relying on something to replace another thing, then the thing, if you're relying on a substance to get to a point that you can do naturally, why would you keep taking the substance?
Yeah.
Because there's going to come a time when you're not going to be able to get that substance and you're going to be relying on it and you won't have it. It's almost like basing your happiness on another person. That person could leave you. You know, it's the same concept. Just stop relying on things and start taking responsibility for yourself and start being able to rely on you.
Yeah, and since I learned to do that, I haven't been heartbroken in a relationship in a long time because I learned the energy others project onto you, whether it be positive or negative, isn't positive always uplifts, but negative, you're not supposed to let that affect you because it's all about the interpreter. If you interpret it in a negative way, you're gonna let it affect you in a negative way, and that shit can eat you up like a cancer or just it's just you're not supposed to do that. And you're not supposed to let your happiness rely on others. You're supposed to make that emanate from within and be that happiness. You're supposed to live that and make that unfuckwittable. You're just supposed to be happy, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with being down sometimes, but you shouldn't let other people bring you down. You should always just be and just be. And people always say, I just see people who always chase love and shit and say, "Oh, I need someone to complete me." You're not supposed to let anyone complete you. You complete yourself, and then you complement someone else in a relationship. You, if you complete someone or have someone complete you, you're not doing it right. Like that's not how it's supposed to be, man. And that really fucks up a lot of people because when that person leaves, it's like cutting yourself in half.
You
It's
got a
just,
hole to fill.
it's just definitely have a hole to fill, and it's just not healthy, man. It's not healthy for yourself or anyone else because when you're in a bad mindset or in a bad mood, everyone else around you will be too because that will turn into bad words and just bad vibes you emit. Even though I don't like that word,
Yeah,
bad. Fuck the polarity. Just be neutral and rise above the polarity.
yeah,
Just don't rely on other people to make you happy, man. You got to make yourself happy, whatever that is. Whether it's from fulfilling your aspirations, making your dreams a reality, or just doing it through spiritualism. You don't have to be spiritual to get this all. You could just be and just take this as words of advice, and that's great too. You don't have to be spiritual to listen to this podcast. You could be the most extreme Christian there is. You could be the most
exactly.
extreme atheist, man. It's all about you, how you just interpret it in your own way. You don't have to take it exactly how we say it. You just interpret it your own way, and that's the problem with just a lot of religious texts. They've been misinterpreted by the readers, or just how people have told it to them. Yeah, it fucks up, man. You just gotta do you and always do you, and that's what I try to do. Don't live for yourself. Don't think for yourself. Don't just live for yourself, but you come first.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound like self-indulged or anything,
No,
but
I think it's healthy. Like,
yeah,
you need to be a bit, you know, the only person that really has your back, the only person that you can really rely on is you.
yeah,
You know,
your
you're there
family
for
too, but
everything.
you're there for yourself more than anyone else, and you'll be. That's why you're here. You were created to create. You're not supposed to be just taken along. You're not supposed to just take someone's hand and walk through life and I'll just go along the path that you go along. I don't care where we go, because yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's just
Got to take some control and some
yeah,
responsibility and go for it.
oh yeah. If people, it's like say, I can't stand those people that say like, oh, I want to move out to California in a year. My friends here, they're like, no, don't do that. Don't leave me. Like if you were a good friend, you'd say, go out there and fulfill your dreams.
Exactly. Why are they relying on, like, someone
Yeah,
else?
it's just it makes me mad, and people would understand why I get mad about that. Oh, that's selfish. You're gonna leave me? No, I'm going to create myself so I can come back to you and be like, look what I did, and then just make you proud or whatever, and you be like, hell yeah, that's fucking dope.
Inspire them to
Oh
do
yeah,
what you did. Not
yeah,
not
pretty much.
necessarily your path, but to follow their own, you know,
Yeah,
create their
just
own.
in our past, we'll meet up again. I mean, like that's just the way I think it's designed, whether it's in this lifetime or the next.
Exactly. Like if it's meant to be, it's gonna be. As long as you're putting in the work, it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah. Some people just sit and just expect things to happen. I'm like, nah, man. They call us the age of entitlement or the generation of entitlement.
It's
Parents say that at least, and well, I'm like, well, you raised us.
pretty accurate though.
Yeah, tell me about it. They blame our generation, but they forget that they raised our generation.
Exactly.
Ain't that some shit? When you tell them that, they're like, no, no.
It's all about externalizing and placing the blame on something that isn't yourself. And as long as that's happening, you know, true growth is never going to happen. And people can like argue at that point as much as they want, but if you're not responsible for you, then how the fuck do you expect to be responsible for your growth? You can't be. It's as simple as that, you know. If you're not being there for you, then you know who is. You know, if you're not responsible for your actions, if you're not responsible for your life, if you're not responsible for what's happening to you, how can you say you're responsible for anything good that happens to you, or anything, you know, any situation in which you grow? A lot of people are quick to say like, oh, why do bad things happen to me? But then as soon as something good happens to them, you know, it's like, I made this. Why have you got this mindset where anything that you don't want to happen isn't your fault, and anything you want to happen is? Like,
It's the
take
polarity mindset, man. It's like the contradictory mindset.
take responsibility for it all, or don't take responsibility at all.
And question everything. Everything. I encourage you
Everything.
to question everything, man. Why did I land this job? Or why did I lose this job? Or why did I attain this relationship that's really great? Or why did I lose it? You gotta question the good and the bad, or just remove yourself from the polarity and rise above it and just see everything for how it really is. If you question everything, you'll learn everything, and no one likes to know it all, but it's good to know it all.
Yeah. So
And
I
I don't know it
mean,
all. I'm not saying I know it all. That's not what I
nah,
meant by that. I don't know shit. I mean, I know shit, but I don't know shit.
admitting that you know nothing is the most liberating experience ever.
Oh yeah,
But
that's
yeah, I think we should kind of wrap this up here.
that was a potent podcast. OG Kusha podcast.
So I mean, you know, we love you for listening, and if you did take offense, like I said, you know, take the offense, work with the offense. You know, it's not our intent to upset you or to offend you, but if it happens, then at least put it to a proactive use,
Oh yeah, it's like
because it's not our
what
intentions. We love you, and we want you to
what
grow.
we say is just what we say, and how you interpret it is how you interpret it. We don't want you to interpret it any way. We want you to interpret it with your deconditioned mindset, if that's
How it
possible for
affects
any of
you.
you. Yeah, just no bias when you hear this shit.
So yeah, like lots of love to you all, and we really appreciate your support. And if you've been listening since the start, that's great. If you've just tuned in, also great. You know, we without you guys, we probably wouldn't have continued this on, because it wouldn't have made sense if no one was listening.
We
But
pretty much do this on kick without, not really, but
I mean, yeah, we don't go as deep, but we do kind of chat about this stuff anyway. But we wanted to bring this to you guys so that, you know, you could kind of not open your eyes to it, but maybe just encourage you to think just a little more, just a little differently. As long as you're thinking, we're happy. So, yeah.
yeah. pretty much. Just we love you. We hope you're enjoying these podcasts. We will continue to make them and release them and spread the knowledge, love, and wisdom.
And we can assure you, like, every podcast is only going to be better than the next. So,
Oh yeah.
with every podcast, we feel that we're getting better at it. So,
We appreciate the feedback a lot.
yeah, if it's constructive and it's something we can actually implement and we can use, then it's greatly appreciated, because that's what we're here to do.
But yeah, love and light. Thanks for listening.
Love and light. Peace out.
Peace.